It's, I think, an early 2000s maybe Columbus engraving machine, which... Profiler, was it? Notorious, but basically for doing isolation routing of PCBs is what a friend of mine bought it for, but it turned out to be so mechanically alright, but the old electronics were completely impossible to program. Well, not impossible, but the software package was pretty notoriously awful, lots of issues. So I've just ripped out all the wires from the stepper drivers and wired it up to a Gerbil shield and an Arduino, which just seems to work. It makes it much easier and more user-friendly. Let's go for it. Cool. I'm not sure how easy that's going to be, but you've got to squirt it up from the bottom. So like wrap it up in gaffer tape and then exactly 3.5 litres of automatic transmission fluid up the...
Yeah, how's that? The spring should be taken out now.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know how far to go now, surely.
Keep going. A bit more. There we go. Right, we're nearing the time to take the engine out of the Zill. Before we do that, I thought it'd be instructive to have a walk around it and see what we're going to have to do restoration wise, apart from swapping the engine. Obviously there's some rusty bits and it's 10 years in the head, so it hasn't done it any favours at all. Let's have a look around and see what needs doing. We'll start at the back. The chassis then had the good fortune to at least be covered by a hefty tarp all the time that it sat down there, and it's in really good nick. While we have it exposed, it makes perfect sense to go over it all with a needle gun, get any loose paint off, and then we'll repaint it. Here at the back is another takeoff. Some of these variants of Zills had a powered trailer on the back with a nuclear missile or other exciting things on. The DAF box, the telecoms box that's on the DAF that we've now shortened from its original 5 meters to 4 meters, will be going on here, and this lot will disappear and the box will come up to about here is the plan. So we have to take this off, and the spare wheel in its carrier will have to come off, and we've got to think of somewhere to put the spare wheel. You can see here we've got a fuel tank, one on each side, and the one time I did a serious journey I managed to get £250 worth of fuel in here. Yeah, between the two tanks, which took me about a week to fill up, doing continual trips on a motorbike with 2 jerry cans on the back. God knows what it costs to fill up now. Anyway, these tanks may well go. They're horribly rusty inside. We've got a nice tank from the DAF which is likely to go on here, and that'll do for us. Whilst it was in the hedge, one side of the cab took quite a beating because I suppose it was permanently damp. This door then door skin is in bad shape. The door itself is fine, but I'm going to have to let in some new metal, tighten this up a bit. Bits like this that dissolved away are insignificant because that's just a flat sheet of metal. That's fine. More of a problem has been that there's been a big hole in the roof which has then leaked into the cab, and the seats are in horrible condition. This gutter around the roof seems to have dissolved away. One of the nice things about the Zill is it's got lots of walkways on it. It's like clambering around on a big boat. Up here then you can see the whacking great hole in the roof, and just adjacent to it you can see one of my earliest attempts at MIG welding, which at least hasn't fallen off. That's about all we can say for it. I think that's structural, that stick. In the cab then, things aren't too bad. The headline's in terrible condition, but it was only a piece of hardboard anyway, so I think we can live without that. The rest of the cab's not too bad. I mean, we'll have to recover the seats and do something about the steering wheel. The steering wheel seems to have started to pull itself apart, which is odd. Already been rehabilitated once, back in '93. Its second restoration. Although the cab appears rotten, it's actually only bits like the door skin. The actual door structure is lovely and solid. That's the sound of solid Soviet steel. One good thing about having left it in a hedge for 10 years was that it stopped the light getting to the tyres, and so if this had been left somewhere nice and sunny, these tyres would have lots more cracking in them, because obviously it's UV that causes the damage to tyres. The fact that it's all covered up, although it didn't do much good for the cab, meant that, like I say, the light didn't penetrate, and these tyres are in really good nick, which is great because there's still plenty of availability for the tyres, but generally you have to go to the ex-Soviet Union to go and get them, which might be fun in itself, but yeah. It's at least something we don't have to do in the immediate future. But when I got it, it was an ex-nuclear decontamination unit, so obviously it had no practical use whatsoever in all the years it was in existence. When I got hold of this truck, these massive rear springs, as with the front springs, were all greased and wrapped up in brown paper. Obviously they're not greased anymore, but neither are they decayed in any way. They're all pretty much mint. Nice thing now, unlike working on the DAF, the Zill is right outside the workshop, so we can use air tools, power tools, the whole shebang. Come on in, Mark. This is a horn. Did we steal it?
I was supposed
acquired.
Yeah.
From a Dutch barge. Now it's ours. Mark woke up at 6:30 this morning and set to work repairing this thing, and this is going to be its maiden squawk. Oh, listen to that.
Soviet era style swingers party.
I don't know anything about these.
I've only read about them and seen a few documentaries. What's up? Ah. I think you'd be able to saw through a rubber hose quite easily, wouldn't you? No, we're not snacking. It is really good. It's probably made of something Russian, isn't it? I'll go now then, I think.
Wish we heard all across the traveller's site. He was unharmed, but he was blown quite a long way.
Cut.
Whoa, here's a fag. Turn the background off.